Good morning, everyone. Thanks for watching this video in the webinar. Today we'll discuss about survey and feedback option. This is one of the very good options. The reason I call it as a good option because this one option or this one module gives you three different options of one collecting feedback, conducting surveys, and three conducting tests or any kind of test in terms of it can be a training response test or training evaluation test or any kind of test that you want to conduct for employees who are going for a confirmation, the employees who are completing their probation or a new joinee employee or anyone who is about to get promoted. So this module can be used in huge different ways, three different ways. So that is why I call it as a very good module. So let us understand more about this. This is I also call it as survey or feedback template. So what actually any HR or the admin would like to do if he wants to collect a feedback or if he wants to conduct any survey or conduct any test, the first thing that comes to our mind is who is the audience, and the second, what would be the questions, and then how would they answer. So and what kind of questions would that be? So let me just tell you what kind of survey you can conduct and what are the options that we are giving when you're defining this particular uh, survey or a feedback or a test. So let me just open up this particular one option. As in you can see, so what you need to define here is the name of whatever you're conducting, survey or a feedback or a test, and then whether this would be a score-based survey. Uh, this is important because if you're conducting any kind of test, yes, that would be a score-based. And if you're conducting any kind of survey for any specific reason, uh, mm, you would like to have a score so that you can evaluate the responses better. Now, when you're conducting a score or a survey, sorry, if you're conducting a survey or a feedback, there will be specific time frame for that. So we have given the option start date and end date. And then if it is a test, then obviously you would need some total score and the passing score. So to understand whether that particular candidate, employee, whoever it is, has he scored the minimum number required. Now, the other option that we have given is when should this particular module trigger. So currently we have given the option as on confirmation. This actually came up as an idea when we were discussing with one of the hospitals who had a specific process for confirmation. So they used to conduct a test for the every employee who completes a probation. So that is when this particular module idea came up, and that is how we say that this particular module would trigger when an employee hits the date of confirmation. So that is how we have the next options, that is the answer will be given by either the employee or will it be given by manager, because if it's in case of confirmation, then obviously the answer has to be given by the manager, and if it's case of survey or feedback, then it can be both the employee as well as the managers. But the way we are doing it, it would be either the employee or the manager, and every manager is also an employee, so his feedback will also get captured. So now who all can view the particular survey? So there are certain things that you would conduct, you would not like the managers to view the employees responses, so you can have this option disabled, and if you want the manager to view the response of an employee, then you can have the option selected. So accordingly, the manager will be able to view the survey or he will not be able to. Now there's another thing wherein there might be certain questions that you're posing which needs choices to be made. but at the same time, on a specific choice, you would want a response also from the respondee, the one who is responding. So we have given an option, as in, do you want to have a comment box applied to that particular service? Now this is where these are the features which we have included, so that you can have an effective survey or a feedback or a test conducted which fulfills your requirement. So once you have defined whether it will be a score-based survey, what would be the start date, what would be the end date, the total score, the passing score, and when it should trigger. If it is not a trigger based, you can always go and assign manually. This is where I was coming to next. So this classification option will give you the option as in how this particular survey, feedback, or test will be allocated to which particular employee. So this classification option will give us that particular feasibility, whether you want this to be given to all the companies, all the departments, locations, designation, which does not so happen so frequently. So you can always select that specific company. You can always select this specific department, location, or designation where you want to conduct this particular survey, or you want to collect the feedback, or you want to conduct a test. So you can save this, and then what comes next is the test, the questions that you want to include for that particular survey or feedback or test. So you can have a number of questions. There's no limitation, and what you can do is you can add a question in terms of we have given again three options. You can have choice based answer, you can have a rating based answer, or you can have a comment based answer. We also call this as a text answer. So if it's a qualitative answer, then it has to be a text. If it's a choice, I mean, if it's a yes or no kind of an answer, or it's a multiple choice based answer. So both the options are given, single choice and multiple choice. And then if it's a rating based question, something like how was the movie? So normally people would put a rating to that particular movie, and then you can also include a text area for that. So you can have multiple, I mean, you can have rating as well as text box included for that particular question. So let me show you one which we have already defined. So here I have given this particular question: how is the work of the new HR? So I have selected this question as a star, as a rating question. So and you can always assign marks to that particular question, so that if you're evaluating on a total score basis, or you have having multiple people tested for the same thing, you will always have something that shows which who is better than the other, or it will give you some quantitative statistics to understand the results better. So you can always give the marks also. So I was talking about the star based option of a question. So you can always have a rating scale, and as you see on the screen, you can have different kinds of rating scales, as we saw in the performance rating option also. So you can have a star rating, rating based question. You can also have a single choice question. So a single choice questions would be where you can only have one correct answer, whereas a multiple choice question would be something where you can have multiple choices as a correct answer. Basically, the single choice or a multiple choice answer is generally used question is generally used in case of test. You can always have it if you're trying to get feedback from the people, as in terms of what particular process or what particular policy choice you want the employee to give their feedback on. So it can be on feedbacks also. So you can use a single choice or multiple choice. Text areas can be asked in case of qualitative questions. So let me show you the questions which are there as a multiple. How is this behavior? I mean, you can have bad, manageable, good, very good. It can be multiple choices. You can say yes for. So this yes or no as a correct answer will be precisely for technical questions, but then you can always have multiple choices for any kind of questions that you want. So we have understood what kind of uh, survey or feedback you can conduct, and what are the features that are available against that particular option, and then what kind of questions can also be included. So in terms of survey, you could define whether it's a score based, when should it start, when it would end, and then should it be an auto trigger basis or a manual basis? Who would give an answer? Who would see the answers? And whether the comment box would be available as an option or not, and then the kind of questions that you can frame in terms of what would be the kind of answers that the people would be giving, whether it would be a rating answer, whether it would be a single choice or multiple choice answers, or whether it would be a feedback kind of an answer. So it's a qualitative or text response. So once you have defined the survey and the questions, then you can always go and merge these two things in terms of what would be the combination of which survey would go with what kind of questions. So you can add multiple choices also. I mean, you can now you can have multiple questions directly assigned to a survey, so you don't need to keep adding questions to a survey on a multiple window basis. So in single window, you can have multiple questions included. So this is how it is. Now let me just quickly do one thing, add one particular survey and add questions to that. So let me choose, let me just create one survey which has all the three types of questions. Survey name is webinar feedback. And then would it be a score-based survey? Yes. When it should start on 27th of May and it should end on 31st of May. Total score should be 10, passing score will be 7. Then should it trigger automatically? No, I cannot give that because this is not something that I can trigger on. So it has to be manual. Answer should be given by all of them. So I would say employee. The manager can view a survey. I don't want the manager, but for the demo purpose, I'll keep both this on. I would like to show how the comment box will appear. So I'll keep this option enabled. I'll keep all the classifications selected so that everyone can give a feedback. I'll say save, and then this survey is created. I'll go to the questions that I want to add into this particular survey. I'll just quickly add 3 to 4 questions based on what I have already included. So let me map directly the questions to the survey since the questions are already there. So I would say webinar feedback. The questions that I would be including is whether the trainer or the person who is conducting the webinar is able to solve the issues on time. Uh, then how was you can give the final feedback. You can also say uh, how was his knowledge, and then how will you rate the trainer? Now let us understand whether all these 4 questions are of different categories, or we need to define different questions for our understanding, as in to see whether all 4 options are, how do they work. This is a star rating question that I've added. Then what is a final feedback? That is the text area question. And then how is the knowledge is again the text area question. How will you rate the trainer is a star question. So let me change one of these questions into a single choice question so that you will see how was it good or was it average. So there'll be only 2 options, and I would just say the first question is the right answer. And I can always assign marks to that. So now if you see there's this particular webinar feedback which has 4 questions, which was the question that I said, yeah, single choice, text area, and rating options. So let us map this particular one of the employees so that I can show you that how the survey would get conducted. You can always assign it to all the employees, but I'll be assigning it to the one of the employees so that you can see how this goes into the ESS login. So now I'll just go to that particular login, refresh it, and you will see that how does it look like. So we'll go to the employee login, wherein in the HRMS option, there will be an option called as My Survey or Feedback, and you will see that this particular webinar feedback option is view here, visible here. You will see that view details, and now you will have an option to give a feedback on this. This is a star rating based question, so you can as we assigned it as a star based question, so the stars, I mean, rating option is there. Both of them are three rating, mapped at three rating scale, so this is visible as 3 stars. Comment, you can say whether he's able to solve the issues on time. I believe so, can be the response. How is his knowledge? This is a pure text area question, so I would say his knowledge is up to the mark. And then how will you rate the trainer? I would rate as 2, and then I would say can be improvised. What would be the final feedback? It's good, so I would say good, and then I would say all the best. So this is how the employee has given his submission. So let us see how this particular feedback that has been given by the employee is visible both in the employee login as well as in the manager's login. As I said before, it's not necessary that everything that is given as a feedback by the employee will be visible to the manager. But since this is a survey where I have made this visible, so you will be able to see this. Otherwise, it's not necessary that all the feedbacks that are given by the the employee is visible to the manager. So you can see that whatever star rating I had given is visible to that particular manager. He cannot alter this, since this is how he cannot alter this, is only as a visibility to him. You can see that all this is given here. So this is how it will be visible to an manager. Now let us understand what goes into the admin login. This is here, and you can see the total score is 13. And if you want to view the survey, this is how the survey will be visible. Whether he's able to solve the issue on time, this is what various, you're given 2 stars, you are given good, and then how is his knowledge? It's a text question, so that's why there's no graph as such. And then now let me go back to the so now, since a normally survey or a feedback would have uh, scores which needs to be assessed, so the scores will be visible to be exported to an Excel, and which can be again exported, which can be downloaded and sent to the respective managers or admin to get an idea about what is the feedback of the employees for a particular thing. Now, this particular, as I said, this particular module was developed from a frame of mind saying that we wanted to collect the feedback, especially for the employees who were completing the probation. So let us see how the view appears there. Here I have opened this particular Excel, so you can see who has given what kind of response on what kind of survey. This particular entire matrix will be visible like this. You can always filter if you want to see the response for only specific surveys, then you can always filter based on what these filter options that are visible. So you can only export whatever relevant option you want to see. Okay. Seems like this option doesn't seem to be working. We can always look into this. It's a very small thing, but this is how you can filter and you can export it. Now, if it's an employee to confirm, the seeing the response is an important part. So this is how the admin also can look into the answers in the admin login. In the rest of the places, you will only see in terms of marks, or only the manager will be able to see what is the response, because he's the one who is interested in the survey or the feedback. But if there is a requirement from the client that even the normal survey or feedbacks needs to be seen in terms of responses, then we can always give that as an option to the other options as well. So here you can see what is the response that is visible to the admin. Similar to the manager, even all the questions will be visible to the admin with the options given and the response of the particular employee. So this is how it will be visible. You can export this thing also into Excel. No, this will not be exportable to Excel, because this is specifically about various surveys that are conducted. The total scores are here. If there is any need for this to be exported, we can give an export option also. So this is all about the survey feedback or the test module. This particular module is also linked to a training module, since every training may be having a feedback form which needs to be collected. So you can always conduct that feedback or a test of the trainer or the test of the trainee from this particular module. We have an option where you can link the training with the evaluation, so this can also be used there. If you have any questions, request is to raise. In the meanwhile, I'll just go through my checklist to check if I have missed any specific topic. So thank you so much for watching this video or the webinar. Any further questions, we request you to raise it over. You can send it to our email ID, or you can contact us. The numbers are visible on our website on the contact us page. Thank you for watching this video webinar. Thank you so much. Thank you once again.